and then he'll. And welcome back. We are live again at the Whitman Winter Expo 2025, where we have yet another guest for you. This gentleman is from the Grand Poobah of Rarity 7, which is a high-end coin dealer. His name is Noah Lehmann-Haupt. And thanks for being on the Coin Show.
Thank you for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
No problem. So tell us what you do. I mean, just in kind of a general
International
sense.
Man of Mystery.
Yes.
General sense. So Rarity 7 is my company. We sell awesome coins. That is my goal. And we buy awesome coins too. In fact, more importantly than selling, we love to sell amazing coins to collectors. That's the way I describe it. Now, look, like everyone in the business, we'll sell to wholesale, we'll wholesale coins to other dealers, but the bread and butter business is we like finding really great coins. I like to tell my customers, my job is to hunt at shows like this, go to everything from online auctions, in-person auctions, and find really, really great coins, find them, take really nice photographs of them, and sell them to collectors so that they will love them and have them in their collection forever.
Is there a focus that your firm deals with?
Or is it just really nice coins?
It's honestly, it's really nice coins. If I could pick a focus, it's hard to.
Mm-hmm.
I like 19th century CAC approved type. If I really had to choose.
So are we talking U.S. exclusively?
Yeah, we're U.S. coins. Sorry,
Okay.
I should have said that. That's important. And like I love seeded dollars. I love seeded halves, draped bust dollars.
Yes.
Bust halves. So like really nice, great early gold is delightful. Anything 18th century is great too. There's not a lot to choose from, but we love great flowing hair dollars and flowing hair halves and 1799 draped bust dollar. So anything that's kind of like meaty and solid and really delightful and delicious, we like doing. But we'll do everything. I mean, I have 1955 double die Lincoln cents. I love those. I'll get really nice proof buffalo nickels. So just like nice type coins that collectors look at and go, wow, that's great. And we do that. That's my thing. That's what we do.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
it's fun.
And I always tell people, I've said this ever since we started doing our show, that if you're a collector, you want to buy the coins that make you say, wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, and even as a dealer, like if I get a wow, I call them wow coins.
Yeah.
If I get a wow coin in and it makes me say, wow,
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing this for 25 years.
Yeah.
It's going to make the next guy say, wow. And that's the way it should go.
It's just like Bianca said earlier that, being in the business, you get kind of jaded. You get to see a lot of stuff. When you see something that makes you go, wow.
Yes.
That's something exciting. And they're
Noteworthy.
easier to sell what you do.
I bought a pattern at the Rosemont show that was it's a trade dollar pattern, but it was the no stars type. So it's just Liberty with the globe with black mirrors around, looked like a kind of Gobrek dollar style. And every single person I said, holy expletive when I picked up that coin. Every single person that picks up that coin goes, holy crap, or wow. That is like, I would love coins like that. Now, I haven't sold it yet, so maybe I made a mistake, but certainly.
Maybe you're the collector?
Maybe I'm the collector. And honestly, I told people, I was like, I don't care whether anybody buys this coin or not. I am excited to have this coin in my case on my website. It's a wow coin. I love stuff like that.
Stuff like that, you can always point to it and say, this is the stuff I deal.
Right.
And you can be proud of it.
Right. Now, the biggest problem that we all have, I'm sure people have as a dealer, is that you sell a coin like that and you feel this immediate sense of loss. We sold a coin today just at the show about 30 minutes ago. I had a 1796 quarter in VF30 with a CAC sticker on it, and it had rainbow toning around the edges. And we just bought this coin like 3 weeks ago at another show, and it is I knew it would go fast. I didn't know it would go this fast for a mid 5-figure coin.
Yeah.
And I'm like excited that we sold it, and it's going to a wonderful collector who's going to put it in his typeset, and he's like a great guy. But I'm also like, oh, now I got to go find something else that makes me go, wow. And I feel this like sense of loss. And I think that is what drives a lot of people in this industry to keep going because you have to keep getting the next dopamine.
Are we just coin junkies?
We're junkies. We're addicts. We're total dopamine addicts.
I think so.
So do you think of these coins as you place them into collections as like your children? Are you?
Oh my goodness!
Are
yes.
you more than happy to for them to come home?
I'm thrilled for them to come home. In fact, it's funny. I have a really, really beautiful one of the gold. We do currency as well. We have one of the old gold banknotes, the 1870 gold banknotes, the California ones with the etching of the coins. These are like $10,000-$15,000 notes, and I just bought the same note back for the third time from a collector, and I keep selling it, and they love it. And then they find like another thing that they want, and then they sell back. So it's the third time. I'm thrilled, by the way, because I've sold the same note and made the same margin on it 3 times.
Sure.
I'm very happy. We'll sell it a 4th time. It's great.
Old friends.
And it's just, one guy had it for a year, and he's like, look, I love this, and I've decided to build a different type of collection, so I don't need this, But anyway, old friends, right? You see these things back, and I'm happy to bring them home. And particularly, I like selling coins to collectors because when they're ready to move on to something else, they are more likely to send it back to me, and I can keep a coin in the family as opposed to going into some wholesale vortex where
it's something that I've noticed is a pattern with certain dealers that they place high-end coins into high-end collections.
Yeah.
And the idea is we'll buy it back whenever you're done with it.
Anytime you want. I tell people, any coin I ever sell you, I will always buy it back no matter what. Now, I can't guarantee it's going to be exactly what I sold it for you for.
Sure.
Maybe it'll be more if the market goes up. I'd be thrilled for that. But in general, I am like thrilled to buy coins back from people. It's great.
So are you strictly show circuit online, or do you have a storefront?
We just this month opened a by appointment only office in the Bay Area. We're in Sausalito, California, just over the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a beautiful touristy area. It's delightful, really close to the city. And it's just for doing appraisals and but we don't have a retail shop. We're online show circuit business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So do you guys incorporate any kind of what's the phrase I'm looking for? A common theme with all of our people we talked to today has been how technology is helping you or hurting you. And do you guys incorporate any new technology into what you guys do?
I am a software engineer by trade.
Oh, so you're there you go.
Nothing going on here.
Yeah. And in fact, I would argue that software is probably the root and core competitive advantage that my business has. So my website is totally custom. I don't use any out-of-the-box package. And I've built it to be really fast. It integrates directly with my inventory system, which is totally custom. And so, when I mark a coin as sold on my inventory system, it immediately gets taken off of eBay. It's immediately marked as sold on my website, like instant. So I spend, on a given week, in a perfect world, I would spend half my time doing software engineering, coding, working on our software stack to improve it. It's what I love as much as coins. Unfortunately, on busy weeks, I spend much less than half my time doing that. But yeah, so tech is a very, very central part of my business.
But it definitely covers a vast expense to most, in doing all the IT yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I have a competitive advantage, which is that I'm a software guy myself. I shudder at what it would cost to spend, to hire someone to do the kind of stuff that we do. It's just not cheap. You got to get, and in fact, one of the biggest problems with working in technology, it's not just the money. It's finding someone who understands both the coin industry and technology enough to build something that works for everyone. It's been a huge challenge.
You could have the best program in the world, but if he doesn't understand that coins are differentiated by grade, then it doesn't matter.
No, exactly. Or he doesn't understand that, you can't bin, certain coins get grouped together. And, I've seen people who have systems that think that any coin in the same holder is identical. They don't need a picture for a coin. They don't understand that coins are unique items.
Yes.
And it's a whole complexity area, it's wild. It's certainly tough. But it's a fun thing that we do. I really enjoy it. I like being in the tech world. I really like being able to learn about the industry and apply that kind of stuff. So it's really fun.
So where do you see marketplaces the next 8 or 10 years?
It's an excellent question. So we're in an interesting spot right now, right? Which is eBay, which has been around since the mid 90s, is still one of the dominant retail marketplaces in coins.
Mm-hmm.
And you have eBay, you have these sort of side notes. I mean, I'm looking at, see the CAC logo. CAC launched their own marketplace. Gray Sheet has their marketplace. There are a lot of independent marketplaces out there. And the problem with marketplaces is that you need two things for a marketplace to work really well. You need buyers and sellers.
You need both.
And a lot of the problem that a lot of marketplaces have, this is a classic problem. It's called the two-sided marketplace problem. It's really hard to get both to go to the same place. I've seen a lot of these numismatic marketplaces launch, and they do a really good job of like walking around this room and getting a lot of names signed up, and then how are you going to
spend 100 hours of man hours putting stuff in this site for nothing to sell?
Right, and then they get no traffic, right? So you need to have both buyers and sellers for this stuff. It is. I don't have the answer to how to do this. Where do I see it going? I think that there is still an opportunity in this industry for something that isn't eBay in terms of retail. I really do. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to work. I will tell you that I have been working with, I'm an investor in, and so obviously I'm biased, a company called Pure, and they are building a kind of like almost like a NASDAQ marketplace for bullion and generics and metals and stuff like that. And they are doing a really, really, really good job of it. And I know the guy who's running it, and I have a lot of confidence in him. I think they are a company to watch in the space. I think, they're kind of aggregating a lot of wholesalers. They call Upstate, and they have all these guys who have individual bids for gold and silver. And what Pure is doing is aggregating it all in one place so that you can see almost like a bid-ask marketplace for the market, for the world. So this is great. I use them all the time, and they're trying to build up their business. I think they're heading in the right direction in terms of the marketplace for gold and silver.
Sure.
I don't know who's doing anything on like numismatics so much. To take on eBay in terms of like a retail marketplace. I know a lot of people are trying,
right?
But there's certainly an opportunity there for sure.
I think it's an interesting problem. What you pointed out is that, you can build a site that's really conducive to selling.
Yeah.
You can build a site that's really conducive to buying.
Great.
But you have to do one that does both. And therein lies the rub.
It is really hard. And selling even, it's like, you just said it yourself. You spend all this time uploading all these inventory and getting all these dealers to get all their stuff on there. That's another big problem. Once you do it, well, what happens when you sell it at a show? Are you going to remember like, well, I got to take it off eBay, I got to take it off this new site, I got to go log in and do that, and that's a tech problem. It's not easy to solve because everyone in this room has a different inventory system. Everyone in this room, some people don't have an inventory system. In fact, I would argue most people don't have an inventory system.
I was going to say a lot of the old school guys.
Everybody has a different understanding of their level of technology.
I just got written a paper invoice, and the guy peeled the stickers off and stuck into his invoice.
That's exactly
his
right.
Inventory system.
That's how we do it. So look, there's some people in the industry that you're never going to convince someone like that to move to a computer-based online inventory system. That's a big challenge in this industry. And I look, some of the a lot of the guys, David Lawrence, you see are fully online. You see everyone sitting behind laptops. They've got real inventory systems. They know what they're doing. So the problem is easier with folks who are like that, but that is a minority of the industry. So
right now, and
it seems to be just the bigger businesses that can do that.
Correct. Yeah, it's hard again because what you said, the expense. It's not easy to do this.
It's definitely a 6-figure project to have somebody design that software for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of almost get the feeling that we're at kind of a fork in the road here, where I think that the technology, especially over the next 8 or 10 years, is really going to start to burn and turn because a lot of these older guys are going to be retiring, and heaven forbid, a lot of these guys are going to pass away.
Yep.
The guys that have been around forever and have been really resistant to this, and that's going to leave either a void at shows like this, or there's going to be these young guys, which I see some running around here today, that are going to fill this void, and they're going to be very tech savvy. They're going to be the guys that are, streaming their sales live to people, and
they're going to be inventing ways that we haven't even thought of.
Right. Correct. And we're actually on the edge of a big change in just the technology world in general, and that we could have a whole hour-long conversation about this. But a lot of the companies which are releasing coding models for AI and to build software and all these kind of things. It's going to make it easier for people who are not tech people to build tech. So that 6-figure project that you talk about, that's going to become a 5-figure project or a 4-figure project over the next few years. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
But we're on the verge within the next 5 years of things like, getting every dealer an inventory management system, it's going to be easy to do that.
So we might be where cell phones were when they first came out. They were $1,000.
Brick phones you carried around.
So now there's going to be a
this.
QuickBooks version of inventory
And
control for
nowadays
coins.
you could get a free phone.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly right.
It's it's
And it's the
literally
most powerful computer you've ever owned.
computer. Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
I feel like that might be where we're headed in this industry, especially with the tech and a lot of the ways to sell. I mean, COVID really switched up a lot of people's mindset as far as buying and selling coins go, because all basically the whole world was forced to stay at home for a couple months and figure out what the heck to do with themselves. And a lot of people picked up their hobbies, but people like us, coin nerds and business people, people that run businesses, we do nothing but think.
Yeah.
And that's me.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Mike, but I know I sure do.
I've been accused of it once in a while.
Occasionally.
And so I think that might have been the catalyst that kind of got this whole movement kind of rolling. And it's very interesting to see that. As terrible as it was,
a lot of this industry changed. We had to learn how to adapt to, over a couple year period, not having big coin shows every couple of weeks, every couple of months.
Yep.
And I think it did change the industry a lot. Now, in a good way. I mean, if you look at any price chart of the last 5 years or 6 years, you'll see that there's, any price kind of went like this, and then it kind of went like this in 2021, and it kind of had this moment, 2020, 2021. So I think it did actually, I think we're the beneficiary of a silver lining, this industry. And I think it's on, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. I mean, here we are and, about to hit 2026, and, this coin industry is as strong and vibrant as I've seen it,
That's the thing. I always, you get people online. They're like, "Oh, coins are dead." Come to one of these shows and tell me that.
You tell me that. And technology is becoming a bigger and bigger part of it all the time.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, coins are not dead. I had a conversation with somebody recently, and they said, "Well, don't you think the mint's getting rid of the penny, and we're moving to electronic payments?" And it was an interesting conversation. He said, "Do you think the hobby is going to be in trouble over the next 40, 50 years?" And I said, look, people have been collecting coins for 1,000 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has been a thing. They call it the hobby of kings for a reason.
Yes.
I'm not going to try to profess to say that it's going to be growing and the biggest industry ever, but there is something that hits you whether or not, I don't use pocket change anymore, right? I'm on credit cards. I barely use cash, other than at coin shows really. But nonetheless, when I see a coin, I'm part of my brain is activating that has nothing to do with like the familiarity of the change when I was a kid. It's little pieces of art. It's something amazing and history and there's like this whole thing that all gets connected. I don't think that is at any risk of being any less emotional with people over the next some odd years.
Right.
It's funny because people will collect this, that, the other thing, but the money has always been something that has had that kind of emotional, attachment.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few generations, once people don't remember what money was anymore, we might be in trouble. But
yeah, exactly.
I won't be around for it. So
right. Yeah. That won't be any of your guys' problems.
That's something I need to worry about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that may happen in the future. And you can't. What do you do?
Now the interesting thing to look at is the stamp hobby has definitely taken a decline. Stamp collecting is not what it was. My father, I remember him showing me his stamp collection when I was a kid. When I first got into coins, he kind of showed me his stamp collection. He showed me his coin collection, and that was helped get me excited by this. That hobby is not growing. I don't know that I would say it's not growing because we don't really use stamps anymore. We do use stamps. You just go to the post office, letters are mailed, and the post office still sends stamps and still sells stamps. I just think that the dynamics of that hobby have changed. It hasn't done outreach to, kids aren't getting into stamps. There isn't.
If you go to a stamp show, it looks like the day room of a nursing home.
Exactly.
It does. It's terrible.
Yeah. And there's no price guide and there's no tech. I mean, the whole world is just different. So I would blame the demise of that hobby, or at least the decline of that hobby, in the industry itself more than the interest. I look at stamps, by the way. I saw some auctions where, occasionally I get catalogs for some of these guys that sell stamps. They're fascinating. It triggers just as much emotional dopamine in me as, paper money or coins do. It's just that there isn't an industry for me to look at. There isn't online stuff happening. There's no whatnot for stamps. There's no things like that happening. So, the hobby itself needs to sustain the hobby itself.
I truly don't understand why currency collectors aren't more avid stamp collectors, because they seem to have a lot of similarities.
A lot of it's the same process.
Right.
I look at stamps, and I'm not a stamp guy at all, but I look at it and I kind of like, well, that's cool. That it's from the 1800s and the 1700s, and it's this delicate intaglio printing, and it's got the same it is the same exact process as paper money.
It 100%
So it
is.
definitely triggers just as much dopamine in me looking at stamps as coins. It's just for whatever reason, I'm not in that industry right now.
Right.
So.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate your angle, being somebody that's in tech and in coins at the same time. I think that's really an interesting angle that there are probably not very many other people in this room that could have that same conversation that we just had.
I've found them. There's a very few number, and I know who they are, and I've become friends with all of them. But you are right. There's not a lot of
There's
people.
not a lot of
So
them,
since you have a little bit of an edge in tech, and you know that this is a business that is benefiting from tech, where do you see it in 20 years?
It's a great question. I think a few things. I think that we're going to see some new marketplaces appear in 20 years. I don't think that it's a given that eBay is going to be the existing marketplace in 20 years. I think that I predict that every dealer will have an inventory management system in 20 years so that they can look up pricing and what they own and what they paid that isn't based on a sticker on the back. Because I think, I'm not trying to be morbid, but in 20 years, a lot of the older dealers are probably not going to be either in the dealing business or the life business. It's gonna happen naturally, and so it's just it's the reality of what's happening in 20 years. I laugh at. I'm looking actually at one person right over there who's 19 years old, and he's basically running half this room already. Yep. And I say, in 20 years, Max, you're going to be 39, I'm going to be almost 70, and half the guys that you work with here aren't going to be here at all. And he kind of laughs about that. He's I
look at my 15-year-old son sitting right there, and I feel you exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, what do I think is going to happen in 20 years? I think we're going to be a lot more tech savvy. I think platforms like the internet, like the integration that we have with Whatnot, these emerging selling platforms, eBay Live.
How do you feel about the stream sale technique versus the old school, here's a great beautiful picture technique?
I actually like the idea of the stream sale technique. I think it's actually great because I think video tells a story that is, much better than, the joke is, picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, a video is more than 1,000 pictures. And so it gives you a much better sense of what that coin is. I actually love the idea of video. I am personally do not love what Whatnot has turning into with a lot of the gambling, and a lot of the
fear
games.
Of missing out.
That is not my, it's not my thing.
It just doesn't feel right.
It's hitting on the wrong key. That's what it,
Yeah. Look, it is the thing for lots of people. And I know a lot of people in this business, like a lot of participants enjoy the gambling aspect and the game playing aspect.
And a lot of the dealers are leaning into it.
And
they're making money.
They are, sure. I make no moral judgment and I make no business judgment about that. It is not personally my choice of what I want to do. Having said that, I do think that the video sales platform, I think what Whatnot has done is very intelligent because they saw what was happening on social media platforms like Instagram, where people were holding these live sales on Instagram, and it was like bin in comment, and then they would go and manually follow up with everybody. And Whatnot said, well, we should have a button where you can just click buy instead of that. Very, very smart on them.
And it charges the credit card right away.
And as a seller, I did one Whatnot show just to learn about it. It's great. It like spits out your invoices right there. All you have to do is throw your labels on the packages. Like, it is wonderful in terms of logistics on that. The problem is that just by virtue of the momentum of the platform, it has devolved into, raffle games and gambling games and, that kind of thing.
There's not a lot of just straight up coin sellers on there.
Right. A lot of bottom feeders.
I don't even want to say that, but you can sit there and scroll through the streams and it's like game,
right,
game,
right,
game. You might find a guy selling coins.
Right.
Every once in a while.
Overpriced junk.
Not even that, but like just it's just it's a difficult thing for me to feel like I want to participate in that side of it. Just for that reason.
Now, the problem is the reason this is successful is consumers are demanding it. Like the game shows do better because people are signing up to the game shows and playing them, right?
Yep.
So I can't argue with what the consumers want. But I do think it's a challenge with the platform. And I think eBay, frankly, is taking advantage of that right now because eBay Live was, eBay Live launched right around the same time that Whatnot did, or shortly after. eBay Live was not doing a very good job. You had to go 6 menus deep in your eBay app in order to find eBay Live. They finally moved it. So when you go in your eBay app, you now see your eBay Live right near the front. And they're realizing this because eBay Live is a lot more like what Whatnot was. You just go on and you buy coins and you buy paper money and you bid on it in the micro auctions.
Keep the gambling aspect out of it.
And they're keeping it out of it. And eBay is really strict about that.
That's great.
eBay is taking advantage of the sellers who want to just sell shit. Or sell stuff, pardon me. They're taking advantage of the sellers who just want to sell stuff. And they're going to eBay Live and the Whatnot. And the problem is that's polarizing because that means the guys who are just selling things are leaving Whatnot. And Whatnot is becoming more and more only gambling. And eBay Live is
further and further and further.
Exactly right. So that is a bit of a problem with that, or benefit to eBay. So anyway, getting back to the question, what do we think is going to happen in 20 years? I think those platforms, as are going to continue to grow. I think it's a growth area, and I think there will be a new marketplace. I don't know who it is. I don't know who's going to run it, but there will be a specialty. I mean, you've seen the tremendous growth that Ian has driven at Great Collections over the last 10, 15 years that they've been around. I mean, their volume is skyrocketing, and they continue to grow more and more and more. I think you will continue to see that type of platform grow as the industry becomes more comfortable. I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a lot of the collectors in this room were not comfortable buying coins through an online auction.
Right.
And Heritage and Stax have made tremendous investments in their platforms. I mean, they are very advanced. The way the cut bidding works and the bidding and the whole platform is incredibly sophisticated, and they have really, really, really good software that does that. And now you talk to a lot of the collectors in this room, and they're going to say, of course, I'm on every Heritage auction, I'm on every Stax auction, I get the live feed, I'm sitting at my desk, I'm bidding. That's a huge change from how we've seen things. And so we're going to keep leaning into that. And that's going to get deeper and deeper. I hope coin shows like this continue to thrive.
Well, that was my next question. Do you think that push forward is going to be detrimental to in-person coin shows?
It's funny. I've heard a lot of people try to sound the death knell for in-person coin shows. I do not think that is going to change dramatically. And here's why. Coins are a physical thing that you want to look at, that you want to hold, you want to understand it. And I think that there is always going to be a segment of people, of collector, that wants to get up, meet other collectors, look at the things in person, have a whole bunch of vendors in one spot. So I don't think the internet's going to kill the coin shows. I just don't. I don't.
I think with all things, there is going to be some unknown innovation that's going to come along that's going to completely turn the direction of everything.
Yep.
Because that's what happens.
Yep.
And you can't see it coming. You just don't know. It just happens. And just like COVID made a big change in the way that we do things, that something else is going to happen, either technologically or,
It's an incredibly good point you make. It's an incredibly, and it could be something none of us are expecting that could change, put the industry on its head. And I think it'd be kind of fun, but you're exactly right. It could totally happen.
Yep.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking the time.
It's great.
Been a great
so Noah Lehmann-Haupt is he's the grand poobah at or he's the boss at Rarity 7.
Yeah.
And website rarity7.com.
Rarity7.com.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Yep. Check it out. And buy some coins.
Yeah. And we also have a YouTube, Rarity 7 Coins on YouTube. We do reviews of all the coins that we get. My business partner and co-founder, Owen, who is a grader at PCGS, joins me on all these things. We look at all the coins and we talk about them, and it's super fun.
Heck yeah. Well, you guys check that. And what's the name of that channel again?
That's just Rarity 7 Coins on YouTube.
Cool. Check it out, guys.
7 Coins on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like you got a theme going with
that. Listen, I like it.
Thanks for coming by. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate your expertise.
Thanks, man.
And we'd like to have you
really
again.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. That was really fun.